All right, I'd like to welcome everyone to today's presentation of the DriveWare program. My name is Anthony, and in a few minutes, we'll be showing you the many features DriveWare has to offer and how they can benefit you and your company. A little bit about DriveWare before we get started. DriveWare has been providing software solutions for over 20 years, and we specialize in transportation software for the motor coach industry. DriveWare is a full-featured program which helps simplify your daily tasks, such as giving quotes, sending out confirmations, scheduling your drivers and vehicles, creating itineraries, invoicing with accounts receivables, various reports. We have databases for your customers, your drivers, vehicles, and frequently serviced locations. You can customize your rates and terms, payment processing, scheduled emails, and much more. We offer a maintenance module, a school bus line run module, and we can link to your website to offer your customers a page to request a quote which integrates with DriveWare. So now I'd like to introduce Jay, and he's going to take us through the presentation.
Yes, thank you, Anthony. Yes, as Anthony mentioned, we have been working with many motor coach companies, transportation companies since 1993. What you see here is basically a lot of work that has gone into create a solution that makes your job easier. The features like scheduled emails, driver notifications, credit card processing, online credit card processing, one-step credit card processing, we call it, because you can just simply process the payment, get an approval code, and mark the payment as mark the invoice as paid, and send a receipt, all in from one screen. Electronic signature coming soon. We have already implemented it. The API is there. A lot of our customers are interested in going electronic signature so that customers can sign the contracts online or from their phone. The scheduled emails has been in service for more than a year now. Some of our customers are saying that they love the feature because the customers get reminded from our system automatically. Drivers get notifications automatically. They will be reminded about their trips. Customers will get emails with the drivers, phone number and contact information. It's all automated so that you can just simply focus on your dispatch grid and assign the drivers, and our system can do the rest. And I'll show you also a feature that is very, very popular now. It's the driver trip offer feature, which I will show in just a minute. And then we'll go over the web portal, the portion that the customers and drivers can use to see their schedules and see their trips, upcoming trips. Also, customers can request quotes online. So we'll show you all of that in just a minute. So let me get into the program. I'll get out of the slideshow here, go into the program. So I'm going to go in here. So you'll notice that I'm logged into the through the browser now inside the Chrome, and I'm looking at all the different menu options here. So this is what you will see when you log in. Of course, every person will have a login name and password. This is our dispatch grid. This is where you would be doing most of your work as far as assigning drivers, assigning vehicles, and you notice that it's notifying me that the medical for this driver is expired. So there's a lot of safety safety features and compliance features that are also built in to the system. We have the vehicle maintenance for compliance, IFTA reporting, and also the drivers as far as the medical and license and all the important dates. So this is where you would be doing your dispatching from. You have your customers, of course, vehicle schedules, and we have the driver schedules, which is similar, but with the list of drivers and then the schedules. And then we have the list of drivers, where you maintain the drivers, time cards, so you can calculate their driver's pay and calculate the hours and the pay, and then be able to generate time card reports. Vehicle information. This is a very important feature in DriveWare, which is the availability by vehicle type, which we'll cover in just a little bit. It is a very important feature for sales because you want to know what type of vehicles you have available. We'll cover that. Okay, so and then of course we have the vehicle maintenance. We'll go over that as well. So just a quick overview of the different features here. Of course, we have lots of different reports available to you. So this is the dispatch grid for today. Notice that I can go from day to day, or I can say that I want to look at maybe a range of dates. So let's go take a look at all the way to 28. So now I can look at all my trips and assign drivers, clear drivers from there, and notice that here I don't have somebody assigned for this trip. So what I can see, maybe I just want to see who's available. So I can go in here and say email drivers, and I can select Anthony, and I can also select Herbert, and see which one is available. So sometimes if you have maybe certain trips that only certain drivers can do, so you can send them an email, see if they're available. And so what happens is the driver gets an email. You notice that it says your transportation company comes from, this is where it came from. So this is the email that was sent to the driver. Now the driver has several different options here. In fact, the last demo we added this option, but you don't really need to have this button there. It's just basically just the accept button. Okay, so now the driver accepted the trip. You notice what happens here on my grid. I am not touching anything. It's just in auto refresh, and you notice the dispatcher now will see that the driver is confirmed because the driver from the email that was received responded and accepted the trip. So now the driver is this driver is confirmed. If Anthony tries to go in and accept the trip, it'll say the trip is already closed. So this is a nice feature if you want to see who's available and also make sure that they're confirmed. And this way you can also tell the driver that you accepted the trip on this date and this time. You confirmed. Okay, so now there's some additional features with that in that email that is available to the driver, and one of them is the driver can, on the day of the trip, on the same email, press en route, and then here on the dispatch grid, the dispatcher will see now that automatically change the status to en route. Now you also have the option to set it up so that your client will get an automated email as well when the driver presses en route. That will remind the customer that the driver is en route, in fact, and so they get a notification. You don't have to do anything; it just automatically does that. Okay, and then same thing when the driver is on site. You notice that it just changed it automatically. So this is all from the driver's phone or tablet or home computer that is receiving this email message. The response back from the driver is updating the dispatch grid, and also it's triggering some emails to be sent out to your dispatcher or to the client. These are all programmable by you. You can program the way that this email is going to look. So this is something that one of our customers is put together. Are you available for this trip? Okay. And they have this wording, so you can change this if you want. You can change the format of the email in our system settings. You can go in here on the system, set up outgoing emails, and here you can change the layout of this email. So you can type in your own text and you can format it the way you want. This percentage is a tag. So we are telling it to include the yard date and the pickup date and the pickup time. And you can move these things around. I would probably want to put this and put it here. And then you have control over the format in any way you want. I'm going to put this over here and save it. Okay, and then last minute changes. If there's a last minute change and you need to notify the driver, you have the option to text the driver from here. So I can assign a driver, and maybe there is a last minute change, and you change that time. Maybe you're changing the pickup time or some notes that you need to put in, and you can say text the driver. So let's go ahead and put in some information for the pickup. Let's just say we have this information here. Notice that maybe we have a new pickup time or spot time. I can text the driver. So now I can also put in additional messages here. And now we can send this as a free text message to the driver. Now the driver will receive this text, and we can notify him quickly if we need to. Now, of course, you have the other options of like sending, as a printing a trip sheet, or you can do a trip sheet. You can do. Let me just disable this really quick. Just a minute, please. Okay. All right. So let me see if there are any questions. Okay, no questions. If you have any questions, please type them in the chat box and I'll read them. Okay, let's go ahead and continue here. So I can still print the trip sheet by selecting print, and I can print the trip sheet for the driver. You notice that you have many different options. You have templates that you can choose from. This is one of them. It's a full page, and it shows the pickup information, destination, and then you can also have the tables for the IFTA reporting and the odometer. You notice that we have one with the log, image. We also have summary versions of the same report. So you can start with one of these templates and then change it if you need to, because we're running to so many different companies that are coming from different systems. Some of them have their own custom made trip tickets, trip sheets, and it's hard to come up with just one form that works for everyone. And as Anthony mentions, here in the chat, you can customize the trip sheet. So you can go in here and you can copy the layout and give it your own name, and then modify that one. You can move things around, delete things. Okay, now as far as starting a reservation and contracts, so let's talk about that. That's important. This is like I said, the dispatch grid that, most of the time the dispatcher and people in the back office will be using to assign drivers, and you can customize this grid also. You can move things around. Like I can move the vehicle next to the driver. So on this grid now you see the vehicle next to the driver. And that's where you assign the vehicles. Okay. So starting a new reservation, let's go through one really quick. So let's just say Viejo, we'll put in, this is just a test one. We'll put in, let's just put in our email address here for this so we can see how it works. Notice that the customer information, we have the email, the main email, but then we also have departments. We have, we may have a school that has many different departments with different people, and we need to send the confirmation to all these different departments. You can do that. Let's just say this is going to be Anthony, and then he's going to be in the football department, and then he has his own email that we can put in. Okay. So now we can go ahead and the customer is already there. Obviously, you can select it and process the order. If it's not there, if the customer is not there, you can add it and then be able to continue from there. But even just typing in the first few characters of the company name will find it. Okay, so now we put in the date, the time. Let's just put in one for the tomorrow at 10 a.m. And now most of these are optional. You don't have to put in anything here. Just put in the date and time, and then the pickup location where you're picking up from, the destination, and then have the system calculate the rate for you. So what I'm doing now is I'm just selecting the one of the rate tables that I've already that I have in the system. This one has the $150 for the first 3 hours. Each additional hour is 75. So and it also has rates for mileage. So if I put in 500 miles, it'll calculate. So now it's calculating by the miles, by the kilometers. You know, if you're in Canada. But basically, you can have it so that it calculates both by the distance or by the hour. And of course, you can overwrite this and charge them whatever you feel like. You know, just overwrite it, make it exactly 1,000. We had a tax rate defined in the system setup, so it's calculating the tax. But we can also add fuel surcharge. We can add the gratuity. Notice that it's calculating those based on the percentage. I don't have to type in. I don't have to calculate anything. And then we may have some parking fees, but the parking fees something I have to manually type in. And you can keep adding to the miscellaneous charges here. Now you may have some stops along the way. So this is what it looks like when you just have the pickup and the destination, because you have a pickup point, you have a destination, and then return back. But then you may have additional stops along the way. And one of the stops could be from the when you're picking up and going to the destination, you may have a stop on the way there. So you can say, oh, I'm going to stop here. And there's just some notes here for the driver. Maybe you don't want the customer to see this on the confirmation. And then you can also make it so that they will know what time they arrive at that stop and what time they leave that stop. You can make it really detailed oriented. But of course, you can just type all this in the notes too, and it will appear on the trip sheet. But if you really want to go the extra step in terms of showing step by step what's going to happen, all the stops, you can do that. Okay, so then you can print the confirmation or quote. And if you're starting as a quote, obviously, you notice that when I was starting this, I had the option for quote. Again, I'm stopping and explaining everything, but most of our customers can enter a reservation in less than a minute. They can just go through, and because a lot of this information will populate, like the pickup points, the destination that have already these frequently serviced locations set up, so they're not typing much. So now I can print the confirmation or the contract for our customer. So the first page has your logo and the pickup information, the charges. You notice that I put in all the different charges here. Now on the second page, we have the terms. Now the terms are user definable. So you can go in there and define your own terms, and you can have more than one terms. So if you're doing a school run, you can have one type of term. If you're doing a party bus, one, and then maybe one for just general. Um, because every contract is going to be a little bit different depending on the kind of bus that you're dispatching. And also you can include a credit card form for them to sign and return back to you. So if I print this again, you notice that I can say print the credit card form as well. And here's where you choose your different types of terms. You can review it again. Now if I review it, I don't need to print it. Now this is our school dance contract. And then you notice that on the last page, they will sign the credit card form. Now I don't need to print this. I don't need to save this anywhere. All I need to do is just click on email and process. Here now you notice that it automatically put my email, and I can CC Anthony in the football department. And then I can choose from our email template here. Here's your code. And these are templates that you can choose from. You don't need to type the same information again and again. A huge time saver. Okay. So now all I have to do is just click send. The contract is sent. And we'll look at it in just a minute in our email client. No need to print anything. Okay, no need to save and then attach into your email client. It does it for you. Now you require a deposit of say $500. You can apply that deposit and send them a receipt. Notice that I can process the credit card right from here, put in the credit card number, and click process payment. It will bring back the approval code, and now I can send them a receipt. Let's send it as a receipt so that they'll notice that. And then I can say, here's your receipt. Let's see if we have one in here. Yeah, we do have one. Here's your receipt. It's gone. So we process the payment and we send them a receipt. Now you notice that when we go into our inbox, we'll see the contract that they need to sign and the credit card form that they fill out and return for the deposit. And then when we process the payment, they'll see there is the receipt that we just sent them. It's that simple. Saves a lot of time because you don't have to go to different systems to do your task. You have everything available to you in one screen. You have your credit card processing, your invoices that the customer wants to pay. In this case, it was just one, but if there were multiple invoices, you could have applied it and sent them a receipt. Okay, so that basically covers the order entry. So now we have an order that needs drivers and it needs the vehicle assigned. All we know at this point is that the customer requested uh, for example, a 55 packs, for tomorrow. So let's go look at tomorrow. And all we know is that this order, the customer um, requested, because a lot of times when they request a particular type of trip, you don't know the vehicle that you're going to be assigning. All you know is that they're looking for a mini school bus or a 55 or 57. So you know the type of vehicle that they're looking for. That's all you know. So sometimes the order that you're taking is for 3 months later, 2 months later. So that's where the availability comes in. When you go in here and say, okay, for tomorrow, what do we have available? So you notice that here we normally have 11 7-passenger vehicles, but we only have 4 available at 12 noon and 11 to noon, and then 5 from 6 a.m. to 11 a.m. This is if you have minus here, then you know that you have no inventory for that day. It's by vehicle type. A lot of times when you're selling, your salesperson needs to know what if you have availability, but you haven't assigned the vehicles because the dispatcher hasn't assigned the vehicle yet to the order. But you know the customers that have already placed their orders, what type of vehicles they're looking for. So this is a great way to know if you have that vehicle type available. Okay, so in this case, we have availability. So we can, all of our vehicle types, we don't have any minuses or zeros. So we're good. We can take this order for tomorrow. But if there was any minus figures or zeros, we know that we're out. Now, a few days before the trip or just a day before the trip, then this availability screen is going to be very useful, which is our vehicle type availability, vehicle by equipment availability, because this is by the unit number. So this shows each vehicle and what time they're um, assigned, and there's color code so that you can know that, okay, these are our school buses, these are our mini buses, and these are our party buses. So you can see which vehicle type, which vehicles you have, and by color coding them, you can see them on the grid. So this shows the vehicle unit number, and then this shows these are the hours of the day. These are the hours that this vehicle is basically booked. In this case, we actually have a conflict because there's red here, and we can see it's because I was just cloning a bunch of orders. And so this just basically shows if there were any times, like we can schedule something for this vehicle early in the morning because it doesn't start until 11 a.m. The next trip is on 11 a.m. And you can also look at the monthly view, so you can see what each vehicle is doing by month. Same thing for driver schedule. You notice that here. These are the different drivers that we have. And then their schedule. Same thing, monthly view for drivers. You can also record the dates that the drivers are looking for time off. So you can either do it yourself from here, and maybe they have a doctor's appointment, and they want to take a vacation. So you can enter all this information for each driver, or the drivers can request their information from the web portal. And I'll show you how that works in just a Just a minute. Here we have all the information as far as um, the basic information, renewal dates. We have reminder calendars that you can use on a daily basis, and they can see which drivers are medical are expiring, which services are due, which vehicles are registrations are expiring. It'll remind you. Okay, so the drivers can call in their the times that they want off, or they can use the web portal. You can give them a login name. This is optional, of course, if you want them to be able to access your system, just their own reservations online. You give them a login name. I just have one called driver, but this would be probably their first name. Um, Now the driver can see, this driver can see his calendar, and by month. They can print it. They can see their schedule. They can print it. They can also look at it in a detailed format. They can view the pickup information. So they have access to this from their phone, from their tablet, from home. They can see just their own reservation. They can't change anything. They can only um, view the information. We are actually going to let them change their status. That means basically they can confirm and reconfirm the trip so that you'll see that on the dispatch grid. That's the only thing that they're going to be able to change. It's just that they're confirmed, and they're going to reconfirm that they're okay with this trip. They can request time offs online, as I mentioned earlier. They can go in here and enter the dates that they want off. So then you immediately will get a notification that they're requesting a time off, and it gets recorded in their file. So you have a list of all the times that they are taking off, and they're not available. So immediately you're going to receive, as a dispatcher or as an administrator email that you have in the system, an email that somebody is requesting a time off. Notice here, and then here you'll notice that if I go back to the to our here, if I go here to my driver and look at the time off, we'll see that the driver is requesting time off again. So it gets recorded there. And it also will appear on the calendar, so we'll know that this driver is not available. Okay, any questions up to this point? Yeah. Questions? Okay. Of course, we have many reports that you can generate from the system by job type, by vehicle. You can generate your IFTA reports, the quarterly reports. Saves a lot of time in terms of the IFTA reporting. Generates the time cards for you, saves a lot of time. Dealing with drivers and their payroll just simplifies it, because you can just simply print from here and have all the information based on the pay period. You'll be able to see that the time cards and print the time cards. So then the driver will know exactly what they're getting paid for, which trips are they getting paid for, and there's no question. Calculates the pay, and it then also adds the gratuity that you need to pay them, any per diem, and then it totals it for you. Huge time saver. Vehicle maintenance, staying in compliance. Reminders, it definitely reminds you if you get inspected. We have very complete reports that auditors like. We were talking to one of our customers at UMA, and he was saying that he just had a recent inspection, and he got 100%. That's just amazing. He was telling him that he's never given this score to anyone, and he was using DriveWare, and he has all these different reports available to him, and all the different services that you've done for a particular vehicle or parts that you've used. It's available to you. All the service orders. So here's a service order for vehicle 523. We can see that we did some, this are the parts that we used. And we just did 1 hour labor parts that we used. Now you can just use it as just a reminder for your PMs, or you can use it to do your service orders. It generates the service orders, and what you could do is, if you have a large shop and you do want to invoice other bus companies, you can too. You can bill it to another customer. So now it'll print as an invoice. So we are doing the job, but it's being billed to another company. Okay. So yes, it's a complete vehicle maintenance with parts inventory and reorder report. And then also all the service reminders will show up on the calendar here, so you know which vehicles are coming due for service. And then here we have all of our dashboard type grids, so we can see which vehicles are working the most and which drivers are working the most, and determine which drivers are getting more jobs than the others, and then kind of help you equalize the pay. Because we were working with one of our customers, MCA in Florida, and Rob was telling me that he has a separate spreadsheet, but since he found this grid, he said he just looks at this grid now and determines how to assign trips to drivers. Okay, I think we've covered just about all the features, just the highlights. Of course, there's a lot more detailed, explanation for each section, but we have training videos for those. This was just a quick overview, and if you have any specific questions, we have some great pricing right now that Anthony can give you. It depends on the number of users, of course, and the type of modules that you are requesting. Anthony can put together a pricing for you based on your requirements, and we do have some special pricing that's going on this week. So until tomorrow, it's from the ABA pricing that we have. So Anthony can give you that discount as well if you like to get online. Okay. Thank you for your time today. Anthony, anything else you want to add or any
Uh,
comments, questions, concerns?
yeah, I'd just like to add that we are available. I just put in our phone number and email address. If you would like to see a more in-depth presentation for your company, maybe you need to have some type of a group presentation, please feel free to call us. If you're looking for a price, our price is based on user licenses, and what that means is that you can have unlimited users, you can have unlimited devices, but we have access licenses. So say for instance you had maybe 7 people in your office who wanted to access the program, but you only needed 4 or 5 licenses because you would need that many licenses for full-time people who would be in there all the time. Then one person logs off, another person can log in. You can set up as many users as you want, but the number of licenses is what allows you to have concurrent people in the system. So that's how our licensing works. So be happy to discuss pricing with you, answer any other questions you might have. Just contact us at 949-309-5150, or you can email us at dw@driveware.com.
Yes, thank you, everyone. I hope you contact Anthony, and we'll see you as a customer online with us. Notice that we were doing everything here through the browser. We do have a thin client version of the same software, but you notice that the speed was exactly the same as a regular thin client connection. So everything was on the cloud right now. So anyway, thank you for your time. We'll see you later. Thank you. Bye bye.